If you've been in the crypto space for a considerable amount of time, you've probably heard the term DAO being used before. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what this particular term means and different aspects of it. This video is broken down into 7 parts. What is a DAO? How do DAOs work? Why DAOs are needed in today's economy? The 7 main types or categories of DAOs, the different models of DAO membership, and then the pros and cons of DAOs. Now let's start by answering the question, what is a DAO? Simply put, DAOs are member-owned communities without centralized leadership. They are a safe way for internet strangers to collaborate and contribute funds to a cause that they are passionate about or interested in. Think of it like an internet-native business that's collectively owned and managed by its members. It has its own built-in treasuries that no one has the authority to access without the approval of the entire group. Decisions are governed by proposals and voting to ensure that everyone in the organization has a voice. So how do DAOs work? The backbone of a DAO is its smart contract, which is created by a core team of community members. The contract defines the rules of the organization, lays out the framework from which the DAO is to operate, and holds the group's treasury. This framework usually involves being verifiable, being visible, and being publicly auditable. This means that anyone can fully understand how the DAO works, and any new members will need to agree to the code that is already in place. Once the smart contract is already live on the blockchain, it cannot be edited except for if there is a vote that has taken place that includes all the community members. This means that there is no need for a central authority, because once a decision has been made and a vote has passed, then the agreed upon action executes automatically. This is because smart contracts are tamper-proof, and should anyone try to change the code of the DAO or the rules of the DAO, everyone will get to know, because this code or this smart contract is publicly available. So why are DAOs needed in today's economy? Imagine trying to start a business with someone you've spoken to a few times on the internet. I bet some of you can't even imagine that. That's because it requires a certain amount of trust, and that's where DAOs come in. With DAOs, you do not need to trust anyone, just the DAO's code or the smart contract, which is completely transparent and verifiable to anyone. This opens up opportunities for collaboration and coordination on a global level. While we are still talking about that, I would like us to talk about how DAOs could give traditional business structures competition later on as time goes on. With traditional business structures, there is a hierarchy which starts from upper management to the employees. The upper management tend to be the decision makers, and the people at the bottom often have no say in the direction or the running of the business. With DAOs, the rules and the governance are coded into smart contracts on the blockchain. And in order for any of these rules to change, there needs to be a vote from each of the DAO members. This enables every DAO member to feel like their voice is heard in the decision making of the business or in the daily running of the business. Let's take a look at categories or types of DAOs. Most DAOs fall into one of 7 categories. The first is DAO operating systems, which are the starting block for a DAO ecosystem. They offer resources for people who want to start their own DAO. The second is grants DAOs, which were the first real use case for DAOs. Here, communities can donate and, using DAOs, vote on how that capital is allocated in the form of governance proposals. The third type is investment DAOs, where members are allowed to pool their capital and invest in projects in their earliest stages. Number 4 is social DAOs, which has been described as the natural evolution of group chats, where friends can become co-workers and really interact on a decentralized platform. Number 5 is service DAOs. These are used to create decentralized working groups for individuals and talent agencies, which help bridge the gap between talents and communities. The 6th type is collector DAOs, which came into play in 2021 when NFTs took off. These work mostly with NFT artists and platforms to figure out which NFTs have long-term value. The 7th and final type of DAO is the media DAOs, which incentivize content creators and consumers by making them part of a reward-based ecosystem. We would like to share 2 specific examples of how DAOs can be used. The first is a charity. You can accept membership and donations from anyone around the world, and as a group decide how you're going to spend the donations. The second example is a freelancer network, where a group of contractors pool their funds together so as to rent office spaces and pay for software subscriptions. There are several DAOs out there, but they all share a common interest, which is that important notions should be proposed, discussed, and implemented with the whole community's best wishes in mind. Now, despite the uncertainty in regards to the regulations around DAOs, the 2,200 DAO members that were registered in 2020 compared to the 1.7 million DAO members that were registered in 2021 should tell you how big or how fast this idea is picking up steam. That leap from 2,200 to 1.7 million is such a huge one and should tell you where this particular idea is going. Let's take a look at the different models of DAO membership. The first is token-based membership. Here, governance tokens can be traded without permission on decentralized exchanges. Others must be earned through providing liquidity or some other proof of work. Either way, these tokens grant you access to voting. A great example of this kind of model is MakerDAO's token, MKR, which is available on many DEXs or decentralized exchanges. So anyone could buy into having the voting power on the MakerDAO's future. The second is share-based membership. Share-based DAOs are more permissioned but still quite open. Prospective members will need to submit a proposal offering some sort of value, either through tokens or some form of work. Shares represent direct voting power and ownership, and members can exit at any point with their proportionate share of the treasury. This form of membership is common among closer-knit human-centric organizations such as charities, worker collectives, and investment clubs. They can also make use of protocols and tokens in their model. A great example here is the Moloch DAO, which is focused on funding Ethereum projects. They require a proposal from a prospective member so that the group can assess whether this person has the necessary expertise and capital to make informed judgments regarding potential grantees. You can't just buy access into this DAO on the open market. What are the pros of a DAO? The first is that it allows more people within a business to have a voice when it comes to contributing ideas and making decisions. The second is that since the rules and governance for a DAO are laid out in a smart contract, this means that it is visible, verifiable, and publicly auditable, meaning anyone can fully understand how the DAO is working. The third pro, which can also be a con, is that no one can change the code unless everyone in the group has agreed. Now let's take a look at the cons of a DAO. Due to the size of some DAOs or the fact that there is no one clear CEO or founder, it makes it difficult to hold anyone accountable. This means DAO users risk running into legal issues, and the fact that they are a recent development means that the laws or the regulations that have been set for the traditional business structures cannot function in the decentralized system. The second con is related to the third advantage we looked at regarding no one being able to change the code until everyone in the group has agreed. Imagine that there is a security threat, whether it's a bug or a hacker. The fact that everyone needs to vote on it will take time, and this time can be used by this malicious threat to destroy whatever the DAO has set in place or to cause some kind of issues. That brings us to the end of this video. We hope that you have a better idea of what DAOs are and how they function. In next week's video, we are going to be taking a look at smart contracts. So be sure to subscribe to be notified when that video drops. Until next time.